One Friday Fights 111 is live this Friday at 2:30 South African time on the One Championship YouTube page. The card's headlined by Petsukumvit taking on Silviu Vitez. We're breaking this fight card down next in Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Guy, back again with another preview of One Championships One Friday Fights 111. A cool fight card that will be not headlining, it will be the curtain raiser for Fight Night 32, which will literally be taking place plus minus like 8-9 hours later at the same venue, Lumpinee Stadium, Bangkok, Thailand. Just give me a moment. I just got the weigh-ins in the background for Fight Night 32 as well, because I will be doing an instant reaction to that immediately after I'm done recording this episode of One Friday Fights 111. But as always, we'll start at the top of the card. Let's bring it up on screen. There we go. We'll start at the top of the card. Like I mentioned, we do have Petsukumvit headlining against Silviu Vitez. I mean, this is actually a very good matchup for One Championship they have put together, to be honest with you. Super stoked about it as well. I think because we have two hard-hitting athletes, particularly with Petsukumvit, taking on someone that is also fairly elusive in terms of how they move. Petsukumvit is 26 years old. His record in One Championship is 3 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO, 4-fight losing streak as it stands. He lost to Wang Pong by unanimous decision in his last fight, which is a bit sad to see him in a 4-fight losing streak, by the way, because I mean the guy, he's been around. He's been around the block. He's been fighting some really good names. Like I said, Silviu Vitez, a bit of a sniper, 31 years old, recording One Championships, 2 wins, 5 losses, and 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO. He beat what's his name? Let me just get this down here. I got it on. Tomoki Sato. There we go. By KO in his last fight. Before that, he was also on a 3-fight losing streak, losing to Panpaya in Konklai in that losing streak, unfortunately. But let me go back to Petsukumvit, right? So I don't think that the 4 losses speaks much to what kind of athlete he really is, what kind of fight he really is. He's got a win over Kong Torani, who's literally in the top 5 of the flyweight Muay Thai division right now. So that kind of tells you the way he's at, right? But those 4 losses, came up against the hands of Kong Suk and Zhao Suyai twice, who's headlining the Fight Night 32 card, which will be taking place a few hours later, obviously. So those kind of losses, and they were Zhao Suyai knocked him out, but those were all decision losses as well prior to that one knockout from Zhao Suyai. So it's like, you know what I mean? He's been fighting against some top-class talent, and I think that we have to sort of pay respects to what kind of a fighter he really is. He's got some really hard-hitting hands, very aggressive, loves to push the pace, but sometimes puts himself too much in the line of fire for me. I think if he can be defensive and then know when to apply that aggression, not just go aggressive from the get-go, I think he can definitely be a much more deadlier fighter than what he currently is. He's taken on someone that is going to be a very good dance partner, right? Silviu Vitez has also had a bit of a tough time in the One Championship. Like I said, he beat Tomoki Sato in his last fight, but before that, the 3-fight losing streak wasn't really in his favor. He fought Seksanos as well. Yodlek Pet losing to both of them. So it's like he's got some tough losses because he's taken on some really tough opponents, right? But he also put on some really good spectacle performances. I think one of his best attributes is his stamina, his gas tank, his ability to go through the rounds, not really getting tired. And you'll notice that for Silviu Vitez, if you don't put him away, he does rev up the sort of the output as the round goes on. When we get into round 2, round 3, he starts to apply a lot more pressure, level up that striking. Like I said, the output increases the amount of volume when it comes to his strikes, and I think that can be a very good game plan to beat someone like Petsukumvit. If you look at how Zhao Suyai dispatched of Petsukumvit, there was a lot of in and out movements, hard to track down, very evasive, staying away from a lot of the hard hitting punches of Petsukumvit, and just piecing him up, just jabbing him away, attacking the body, kicking the body, just basically making him have difficulty, making Petsukumvit have difficulty when he closes in. Because you know what he's going to do? He's going to not necessarily jab you that much, but he will throw a jab, but it'll be like set up at the right hand. And what Petsukumvit does quite often is he immediately closes around the void and lets that hands go. So I think Silviu Vitez has got to be awake to that. I'm sure he's watched the tape as well, but he's got to be awake to that, and he's got to never really let Petsukumvit have his back against the ropes and then sitting their feet down from there and letting the hands go. Because if he does it, I think he's going to come off second best. And Petsukumvit will probably knock him out. So he's going to have to really be elusive and move significantly amount and have Petsukumvit miss most of those strikes. And then he can definitely win the fight by having a high volume count of strikes, because that's how you beat him. You just overwhelm him with the amount of strikes. And then if Silviu Vitez stays, peppering that jab and the tips and moving from left to right quite frequently, I think he's gonna be so active in every moment that it'll make Petsukumvit have a difficult time to let himself sit and then throw something, because he's gonna have to keep worrying about the amount of things that's thrown at him. Even though Silviu Vitez is not gonna necessarily throw the hardest strikes consistently, but he's gonna be active every second, and that's what's gonna make a fighter like Petsukumvit have to rethink about how he's gonna enter. Although he can just be very aggressive, right? Maybe take a shot to give a shot. It's gonna be a very barn burn kind of fight. I can see it just because of the two styles, right? They clash really well, and I think it's going to be a fantastic main event for Friday Fights 111. And we have to mention that the fight is taking place in a flyweight division, so that means these guys have made their weight and their hydration, which is fascinating. I like that, and I hope that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I just now got noticed. There we go. Zhao Siyai has officially passed hydration and made weight after two attempts. So that is amazing. So that main event will officially be on. Super excited about that. But again, I'll do more of my reactions to that after this video. But for now, let's keep it moving. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be a fascinating barn burning kind of fight. And I'm going to go Petsukumvit, even though I think that Silviu Vitez is on a bit of a run at the moment. He's gone back into that win column, so he's going to ride that momentum. He might walk into a bit of a car crash that he's probably not prepared for. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But you can always let me know in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen, who you think's going to get the job done there. It's a division that is not screaming or not short of talent. Let's put it that way. Everyone that's so far have been fighting in the flyweight division in one championship have just been absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to this fight in particular. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving to another bout, which is probably going to be fight of the night. For me, this one has fight of the night all written all over it. If I'm being honest here, I think that the winner here is definitely gonna catapult themselves into a one step closer to $100,000 contract. I was gonna say title fight, but not necessarily true actually. Just they're still quite far away from that. But okay, let's go through it. Wang has been around as well. I hope I'm saying it right, but Wang has been around as well. He's 25 years old. His record in one championship is 7 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contests. He's got 3 wins by KO, 3 fight losing streak, which is not really what you want to hear. But he lost to Knock Rob by KO in his last fight, who is also headlining the Fight Night 32 card. Wang is taking on Pompet, as you can see on screen. 26 years old, only 1 year older. Record in one championship is 4 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO. Currently on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost to Aslam John Otikov by unanimous decision. No shame there, right? Because Otikov, let's be honest, he's undefeated in the one championship right now, and he's beating pretty much everybody fairly with ease. I think there was like 1 or 2 fights where I can sometimes think now where he didn't look the greatest, but still came out victor in that fight. So no shade in terms of who Pompet has lost to. All right, let's just talk about Wang, right? Because I'm a fan. I just think his last couple of fights has been against some really tough competitors, and kind of highlighted where he still needs to get to, right? So if we look at those 3 losses, his 3-fight losing streak, Nakrab, who's ranked in the top 5 of this division, of flyweight division. Akif Kulizada, right? He's the wonder kid, the talented kid at the moment in the flyweight division, along with the Stupinan twins and Johan Kozali. Then we have Yodlik Pek as well, another power puncher, and all 3 of them have knocked him out, right? Prior to that, he's beat Saming Dam, who literally who fought on one of the, I think it was co-main event of the Fight Night card that took place before this one, Fight Night 110. He lost to Zhao Siyai by knockout, but then he beat Petsukumvit, who's also fighting on this fight card. He beat Sonrak, who's also fighting on this fight card. And that was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak before he's gone through these losses against some top competitors, which is no shame, right? It kind of shows that the one championship was recognizing his win streak, gave him some of the top talent. Unfortunately, lost them all by finish, but kind of highlights where he needs to get to next, right? Fascinating fighter. He's got a good ability to really pick his opponent down shot for shot. That's what I really like about Wang. And if he needs to, he can really let his hands go and put some heat on you. He's taken on Pompet, who I do think is slightly better in terms of technique. I just don't know if he's got the same kind of power as Wang. So Pompet 2-fight losing streak, right? He lost to Aslam John Otikov, like I mentioned, by unanimous decision. Then he also lost to Suryan Lek by KO. But Suryan Lek is also someone who we all know is very much a powerful puncher as well. Just heavy hands. They have fought twice, by the way, and he beat Suryan Lek in the first time that they had the encounter. Obviously lost it one by KO. He beat Retetet as well, who's also a fantastic name, by TKO. So he's been in there with some killers, right? I'm also a big fan of Pompet's style. I think he's got a very good ability in terms of his technique. It's nice to watch. It's very smooth like butter. So I think this is going to be a fascinating matchup between you got the tactician in Pompet taking on arguably also a tactician, but Wang I think is a kind of fighter that for me has a little bit more heat, in terms of how he throws his strikes. Both guys love to play on the outside. Both guys love to pick their opponent apart, punch for punch, not really make it a bit of a slugfest. I mean, if you look at Wang when he has gotten involved in the slugfest, he got put out, got knocked out, right? He's more of a I'll piece you up over 2 rounds, and in the third round I'm gonna go hard and look for that finish in the third round. Pompet is very much the same, but I think his shots are a little bit cleaner. He's got good elbows, and dude, this is gonna be a really fascinating fight between two really high level dudes that are not far away from being considered of the elite, possibly just outside that top 5. I would go as far as to say maybe within the top 10 rankings at the moment. I love it. I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's a very good co-main event, and we will see more of these guys, if we're being honest. I mean, if whoever wins here in a spectacular fashion would definitely catapult themselves into an argument for a $100,000 contract. Maybe even fight of the night. And they both could possibly get a bonus here. I think this fight has got that makings to be possible like that. But of course, as always, please, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments about who's it matchup. In the comments, who do you think is going to get the job done there? All right, for now, I'm going to keep it moving to the bout that's taking place. Before that, this is going to be a rematch, ladies and gentlemen. Petsukumvit taking on Sonrak in the catchweight, 137 pounds. Muay Thai, let's just get that on screen. That's 62 kgs. Petsukumvit is 23 years old, record in 1 championship. He's 4 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO, and he beat. So this name I wrote down here seems to have a correction in the name. So he beat Yok Set Soros by unanimous decision. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak again. And one of those losses, like I said, was against Sonrak. Literally like 2 fights ago. Sonrak, on the other hand, 28 years old. His record in 1 championship is 6 wins, 5 losses, 0 no contest. He lost to Kunoi by a split decision. Very, very cool fight, by the way. He was on a 5-fight win streak before that. The dude was really making himself become, I won't say noticed, but like he was putting his name on the map now, where Chautu Sitetong and company can't really ignore it anymore, right? I mean, 5 wins in a row is really something to brag about, to put it that way. Okay, so the first fight between these two guys were really close. They were going back and forth. It was a bit of a technical matchup, but Petsukumvit was really struggling to let himself get involved in the fight. He was struggling to get into gear, where Sonrak was in flow state most of the time. He was piecing up the fight. He really did have Petsukumvit's number, we put it that way, right? In this rematch, I expect a lot more to be different for Petsukumvit, just because now that you've taken the fight against Sonrak, you've seen what he's going to throw at you. You've seen the kind of game plan he's going to deploy. There's a lot of homework that he could have learned on, right? I think Petsukumvit's going to have to be aggressive, right? He's going to have to take the fight to Sonrak, utilize a little bit of that reach advantage and height advantage. Let me just make sure that so he's got the height advantage. So I think he's going to have to utilize that jab, utilize that teep kicks, be aggressive. Don't necessarily have Sonrak settle in the fight and let him get back into flow state, because he's a very active fighter as well. Sonrak doesn't really wait for counter strikes. He usually goes to counter striking when it's like his last resort kind of thing. Now I've now exhausted all my options. What am I going to use next? I'm going to counter strike. That's what Sondrak does, and it usually happens towards round 3 when he gets significantly and visibly tired for people to see. So Petsukumvit's going to have to put the fight in him from the get-go, right? From the first round, be aggressive, go forward, don't fight on the backward, don't look to counter. You know, if necessary, get into that elbow exchanges, get into that clinch battle, make Sondrak work for this victory. Don't make him just settle in and be the one that gets the pace. I think he's going to have to utilize that reach advantage here. If he fights more counter striking, he's going to lose the fight again. So I expect this fight to be high level chess match between two athletes that are, they're right there. They're right there in terms of making themselves a little bit more recognized, potentially getting themselves into a weight class where they can fight. This is 135, if I'm not mistaken. This is flyweight. They're close to a flyweight. This is 137, so they're close to a flyweight mark. So I think if they can get a good show in here, then I'm sure One Championship's going to ask them to take on someone that's, consistently fighting in a weight class that not necessarily catchweight anymore. This is going to be high level. Sondrak's got a very good chance with that power advantage here, but I put with Chet has also got good technique and he's got the speed advantage. I just want him to utilize that in this fight and not necessarily take pictures like he did in the first fight. Rematches are always tough to pick a winner. It really is always tough to pick a winner. You want to go for the fighter that has lost before, right? So that they have more to sort of fix. But Sondrak, just because he won doesn't mean he has to stick to what he did the first time. Maybe he's have to change a couple of things as well. Gun to my head, I'm gonna go with Sondrak just because he has won the fight before. Right? He doesn't have to change that much. I think he's just gonna have to be defensively sound. And pretty much do what he did in the first fight. Be the aggressor, be the one that dictates the pace, utilize hard body kicks like he normally does, set up those elbows, set up those overhands. He's a very elusive kind of fighter, very cerebral as well. He doesn't really just throw wild stuff at you. He does select his shots in a very nice way. So I think I'm going to go with Sondrak to get the job done here. But of course, you know what to do. Drop your thoughts in the comments, please. As for now, we'll keep it moving to a bout between two young athletes, Wacharapon taking on Peta. This is another catchweight, 130 pounds. These guys are literally just outside of that flyweight mark. Wacharapon, really good fighter, very good young athlete. Big fan of his style, right? He's quite tall for the division. But he's on the current 3-fight losing streak. He's 22 years old. His record in One Championship is 2 wins, 3 losses, 0-no contest, 1 win by KO. Like I said, 3-fight losing streak. One of those losses came against Sing Dom Tong. That was his last fight by KO. And then he also lost to Pompet as well as Aslam John Otikov. Before that, he beat Apiwat, who also we know is a very experienced athlete. He beat him. And then he beat Song Chana by KO before that. That was his debut. 3-fight losing streak, right? He lost against 2 high-level athletes. Sanpet's also very, very good, by the way. But like Sing Dom Tong and Aslam John Otikov are 2 high-level fighters. So there's no shame against losing those guys. Other than that, he's been really doing well, right? Tall, lengthy, good jab, good power puncher, very aggressive. Love the style. He's taken on someone I'm not that familiar with. I mean, Peta, this is going to be his debut, by the way. They're both 22 years old. So I'm expecting to see a bit of a war here, right? Whoever fights against Wacharapon has to be prepared for a bit of a slugfest because he is that kind of fighter. He's super, super aggressive. Singa Mayin, you know that gym, right? Shadow. I think Kong Klai also comes from that gym, I'm not mistaken. You can correct me in the comments there, please, for that one. But I mean, that's a very good gym. They build some powerful dudes. They love the clinch, love the elbows, very aggressive kind of fighters. So never really dull moments when you watch the fighters that come out of that gym. So I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a fascinating fight. Again, I'm not going to give my pick just because it's hard to pick when there's someone that you have not seen fight before. But okay, we'll keep it moving. This is the rest of the fight card, by the way. Korpai taking on Zhao Pyunyai. Catchweight, 135 Muay Thai. This is going to be also a fascinating matchup as well. This is a debutant for Zhao Pyunyai. Korpai has been in the One Championship. I think he's got 1 fight, if I'm not mistaken. But this is going to be a cool fight. Then we got another debutant here. Lanyan Kao taking on Andrei Mezintsev from Ukraine. 118 pounds. So they could be getting into that atomweight division. And then the headliner for the undercard is Isla Erika Bomogao taking on Neria Rubio from Spain. This is catchweight, 103 pounds, 47 kilograms. This is a debutant for Rubio. And then obviously Erika has fought before. She's got one win in the one championship so far. That's catchweight Muay Thai, so I'm cool to see that one. Looking forward to it. Not too familiar with these two gentlemen. They are debuting as well. That's another debut fight. Um, Ran Longshu taking on Misaki. This is catchweight kickboxing. So Ran Longshu, she was the one who fought against Erika, Isla Erika. That was the debut fight for both of them. And unfortunately, Ran came up short in that one. So looking forward to see what she has for a second bout in one championship. And then a couple of more debutants over here for flyweight MMA. And then as well, another MMA featherweight bout that's going to kick off the fight card. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you can let me know your thoughts about this one. Very cool fight card that's going to be a fantastic curtain raiser for Fight Night 32. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a instant reaction to the weigh-ins for the Fight Night 32, as well as doing a live for Fight Night 32 that will be taking place at 3 a.m. South African time. And then we'll also be doing another live for UFC 316. That'll be Sunday, 4 a.m. South African time. On that note, stay blessed, stay humble, have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.